Greetings to all, rock fans and fans of various interesting things.
Another video on the Rock Other Worlds channel, and today I would like to tell you a little about the book that has been adorned my book collection since spring 2023. Of course, it is related to rock, otherwise its review on this channel would be inappropriate.
So, in my hands, залізні артефакти українського року 1991-2021.
It will be in English Iron Artifacts of the Ukrainian Rock 1991-2021. The book is a reference and informational book and is dedicated to the records of the first 30 years of Ukraine's independence, heavy records. This is a book about rock music, but it is intended for a wide audience. If you are interested in the history of music, for example, then there is a lot of interesting stuff here.
The book goes on sale in February 2023.
The author is Igor Simonenko, and I want to tell a bit about him. From 1991 to 1998, Igor Simonenko was the bass guitarist of the death metal band Fatal Epitaph. From 1995 to the present, he is the publisher and editor-in-chief of Terrorizer magazine. This is a Ukrainian magazine dedicated to heavy music, and it looks like this. From 1995 to the present, he is the organizer of the Terrorizer festival. From 2001 to the present, he is the president of the Vinnytsia City Rock Club. From 2004 to now, he is the founder and director of the Nocturnes Records label, author of the books «Між молотом та наковальнею» 2015 and «Залізні артефакти українського року 1991-2021» from 2023. How long did the work on the book take? The idea itself was 5-6 years ago. The material was accumulating, but the work began about a month after the beginning of the full-scale invasion of Russia, February 24, 2022. The author was in a hurry because anything could happen, and he did not want the entire amount of accumulated material to disappear without becoming known to the general public. Book, a beautiful hardcover on the back of which you will find a list of all the bands that are present on the pages of the book.
Their number here is approximately 1,500. Don't metal fans want such beauty for themselves?
Now let's look inside. The book is in Ukrainian, and I know that among my audience there are people from different countries, but this book is written in Ukrainian. At the very beginning, there is an introduction from the author, as well as a list of people who helped create this book. There is even an instruction that will make reading easier for those who are not so well versed in musical terms like LP or split. The structure of the book resembles a catalog where all known bands are listed in alphabetical order, not by genre or region, but alphabetically. I say all known because, of course, some part is not represented here, because some bands existed but left behind nothing at all. No records. So one of the criteria for a band to be included in this book was for the band to make at least one record. After the name of the band, there is a list of records, releases that are known from open sources, or if it was possible to clarify. The author tried to contact all the bands for these clarifications, but of course it was not possible to contact all of them. Approximately 50-50, and if there was no connection with the band, then the data was taken from the most reliable sources, for example Wikipedia or the Metal Archives. As for the band themselves, almost all of the presented bands belong to metal, one of its subgenres, or are somehow closely related to metal. That is, this is a book where there will be no pop rock, for example, or ska punk. It's about heavier music, black, death, thrash.
Here on the pages you will find bands that are recognizable and well known in Ukraine and abroad.
For example, 1914 or Motanka. On these pages you will discover some bands that will be a revelation for you, as they once were for me. And to make this review more interesting, I will talk about a few bands from the huge number presented in ЗАЛІЗНІ АРТЕФАКТИ, about which you can find information on the pages of the book, about which you most likely have not heard. This will be 5 representatives of different subgenres of metal from 5 different corners of Ukraine. Severov from the city of Dnipro, atmospheric black metal. Ilya Rafalsky, he is Severov, is a member of many reputable bands and projects, in some of which he implements his ideas completely independently. Severov is one of them, so to speak solo, if you can say that in the context of black metal, and in this case atmospheric black metal. The project was conceived back in 2007, but the implementation of the material began since 2015, but regularly. Winterfall became the first album, and at the time of creating this particular video, there were already 5 albums in the creative work of Severov. Here the music combines the themes of philosophy, nature, darkness, and even Ukrainian poetry. Of course, that's not all, you just have to listen. The quality of this material can be judged at least by the fact that the last album, Всесвіт, was released by the well-known foreign label Avant-Garde Music. The album is of very high quality and I recommend it to fans of atmospheric black metal. Haspid, Kharkiv, folk melodic death metal.
We are moving to the region of Ukraine, which is historically called Slobozhanщина.
December 6, 2009 is considered the birthday of the band Haspid from the city of Kharkiv. Officially, the folk melodic death metal genre, but an interesting story is connected with the genre. Somehow, at the beginning of its existence, the band filled out a questionnaire for a performance in the Kharkiv region, and at that time they were not yet sure of their exact belonging to the genre. So their acquaintance suggested to write national metal in the questionnaire, after listening to the band's music. Also, for some time the band noted its style as Kharkiv folk metal. The prehistory of the band began in the first half of the 2000s, when the future members of the band got to know each other. The atmosphere of Kharkiv was conducive to rock music. The city had its own rock party, shops and legendary local bands, such as Nocturnal Mortum. 2009, Haspid is formed as a full-fledged collective with its original symbolism, style and ideology. It was in 2009 that the band's first single, Zatoplena Sich, was released. The band released the first EP, Рідна земля, in 2013. At the time of creating this material, the Haspid band has 2 full-length albums and performances at a considerable number of music festivals in different parts of Ukraine, Smila, Kam'янець-Подільський. Regarding the name, the word Haspid comes from the Ukrainian word snake, and here it makes more sense than you might think, because snakes can have both a negative and a positive meaning, is a kind of cosmic balance of creation and destruction. Sectorial, Boyarka, blackened death metal, grindcore. Sectorial band from the city of Boyarka, Kyiv region, which was founded in 2000. Genre, blackened death metal, grindcore. But as the author of the book points out, and here I completely agree with him, that this definition is too narrow, because sectorial music has a lot of other ingredients.
Folk instruments can also be heard here.
This incredible mixture makes the sound of the band very original and interesting. You just have to hear it. The band started as a group of school friends, and in the early years of its existence, the band played several concerts, but after some time it froze its activities due to the lack of room for rehearsals. In the first years of its existence, the band formed its style and composition, and already in 2008 it began to release its material. The first EP, Cerebrum Necrosis Est et in Nobis, is released. After that, the band starts to release new releases almost regularly. Sectorial plays many concerts both in Ukraine and abroad. For example, in 2016 the band represented Ukraine at the famous Lithuanian open-air Kilkim Zaibu. That's not all. In Ukraine there is such an event as the Best Ukrainian Metal Act. In 2015, during the ceremony, their second album, We Are the Titans Rising Ashes, received an award in the Best Metal Album category. The jury also noted the band's debut music video for the track Tree Eater as the best metal video. At the time of making this video, we're final band's album of 2018, which is totally worth your attention. The band Sectorial is not only original heavy music but also an interesting presentation of their material during live performances. Azatat Circle, Kyiv, Metal.
Azatat Circle from the city of Kyiv, whose genre is metal.
Fans of the creepy and mystical will immediately recognize the word Azatat in the band's name. This is the name of the ruler of the other gods from so-called Cthulhu mythos by Howard Lovecraft. That's how the band named itself, paying tribute to the writer's creativity. The band was born on April 27, 2013, and in December 2013 the band began work on its first mini-album, which is called Azatat Circle, and will be released in 2014. The second EP did not take long, and in the fall of 2014 the replacement, such is its name, was officially released on October 31, 2014 on Another Side Records label. The very first live performance of the band also takes place in 2014. It happened on November 1st at the Bingo Club at a Halloween party. In 2015 their track Burning Eye was played on the radio in rotation on the Radio Rocks, a fairly large station in Ukraine dedicated to rock music. During 2015-2016 the band actively performed in Ukraine and also released the maxi single Hero / In My Mind, and the first official clip of the group was shot for the track In My Mind. The band was distinguished by performances at the largest Ukrainian festivals, such as Banderstadt, Taras Bulba, Metalhead's Mission, Black Sea Metal Fest and others. The band released its first full-length album in August 2017, Across the Wounds, and in December of the same year, Azatat Circle was nominated for the Best Ukrainian Metal Act Award as the Best Metal Band of the Year. The end of 2018 was marked for the band by the release of the ethno-experimental EP Lingua, with which the band Azatat Circle went on a European mini tour, Romania, Austria, Hungary.
In September 2019 the single Roots was released.
2021 the album Saivo is released, the first fully Ukrainian language album, thoroughly saturated with the idea of the need to balance inner fears and the need to control the movement of life. The album finally crystallized the Azatat Circle worldview. Terен, Kropivnitsky, folk metal. And finally, the city of Kropivnitsky, the band Terren, folk metal. This is a fairly young band, and as often happens in rock music, it arose from a band that broke up in 2012, and it was the band Cult, which even at one time won the prize place at the Червона Рута festival, which is a rather important cultural event in Ukraine. The history of the band Terren begins in the winter of 2018 with a chance meeting of former members of the band Cult at a small local concert.
It was decided to restore the band. Not all of the former participants agreed.
But the band got together. Now it was the band Terren. The main difference between Terren and Cult is the approach to creating and promoting music. Every sound is meticulously worked on until the musicians agree that the song rocks. The basis of any track is a folk song, or the actual song itself, or melodies, vocals, manner of singing. This is the element that shakes everyone. All the band's songs are in Ukrainian. To date, the band has completed 4 singles and videos for them. The band is working on the material for the album, but at the time of making this video, unfortunately, this process was put on hold due to the Russia's armed aggression against Ukraine. And for those who want to check it out, I recommend the music video for the song Mara, a great example of folk metal. That's almost all. What makes this book valuable is the fact that there are incredibly few books on the history of Ukrainian rock music, given the scale of that cultural layer called Ukrainian rock music. You will find a link to the site where you can order this book in the description of this video.
There will also be a link to the bands.
A huge thank you to Igor Simonenko for this book and to everyone who helped him create it. Also thanks to the musicians and once again to the author who were able to find some time and answer my questions.
Bye!